Yo, it's your boy Dinkity Donk. So you guys think you had a bad day? You were late to your job interview, you ran out of attendees, you used a wire brush as a windshield wiper, you fucked up. And I can't change that. But what I can tell you is that compared to some of the things that have happened in history before, your fuck up doesn't even come close, okay? On October 7th, 1943, a young boy called Oliver North was born, and little Ollie had a dream. It was kind of a unique dream. He had a dream to create the biggest clusterfuck in human history. And I actually think he came real close. Oliver decided to throw in two unrelated countries from different parts of the world, several shipments of missiles, explosives, boatloads of cocaine, a disregard for Congress, a blind president, American hostages, and if this wasn't even a big enough clusterfuck, he threw in the Jews. The Iran-Contra scandal is unique in my opinion because it's one of the biggest fuck yous to Congress, to America, and to the world. First things first, you need to know about one of the other biggest fuck-ups in American history, the Iran hostage crisis, in which Jimmy Peanuts Carter was tasked with bringing home American hostages. It didn't go too well, and now Iran celebrates that great day by parading around and burning the American flag wherever they can. The hostages were eventually released on the same day Ronald Rambo Reagan came into office. And then Reagan denounced Iran and told all the other countries that if you sell weapons to Iran, you're a dirty commie. And on the other side of the world, there are the Contras. There's a civil war in which the heroic Contras fought for love, freedom, and the pursuit of dollars against the evil Sandinista Liberation Front, which is as evil as the length of its acronym, which means it's an evil of four. But in reality, both the Sandinistas and the Contras stole, raped, and killed their way into power. But Reagan didn't give a shit as long as they were fighting the communists, which the Contras technically were, so Reagan decided to give them shitloads of guns and CIA help. But when Congress heard about this, they freaked the fuck out. Because it was like, dude, you just met these guys and now you're giving them fully automatic rifles. Like, who does that? So Congress passed the Bolin Amendments between 1982 and 1984, which said, don't give congressional money to the Contras. That's not good. So, overall, we got two rules. Reagan said, Iran sucks, so don't sell guns to Iran. Congress said, don't give money to the Contras. But can you guess what happens? Come on, guess. So let's go back to Iran. Hezbollah, which is an Islamic organization which most of the world considers a terrorist group, kidnapped 7 American hostages. And Reagan, seeing an opportunity to show the world how much of a badass he was, decided that he was going to save them. But he also said that he wasn't going to negotiate with terrorists. You see where this becomes a problem? He couldn't talk to the terrorists, but he had to get the terrorists to let the hostages go. But you know who could negotiate with Hezbollah? Iran. Because Iran has ties to Hezbollah, and it could convince them to release the hostages. But Reagan just said, we're not going to negotiate with Iran. But what if America doesn't negotiate with Iran? What if Israel negotiates it with Iran? Because Iran needs guns. America has guns. What if America gives the guns to Israel, Israel gives the guns to Iran, and Iran tells Hezbollah to let the hostages go? Reagan was also influenced by his advisors, who believed that there was a moderate Iranian faction that wanted to seize power after the king died. Reagan believed that this was a way to foster a friendlier relationship with the US. So now this convoluted, really confusing plan was in action. And what happened? Yeah, it actually fucking worked. After a second delivery of guns, a hostage was released. But then the guy who was overseeing the whole thing, McFarlane, got cold feet. And yeah, honestly, I would too, because it's like, what the fuck am I doing? So Reagan was like, who do I replace him with? Can you guess who he replaced him with? The one, the only, Ollie North. Ollie looked at the plan and he said, fuck this complicated bullshit. He decided that the sales would go directly to Iran. He also increased the price by like a shit ton. So Ollie was actually making a profit off each sale. And Ollie had so much money that eventually he was going to donate them to a charity. A murder charity, aka the Contras. Because remember, he couldn't give congressional money to the Contras. But the profits he made from selling the guns, Congress didn't give it to him. So was he technically allowed to do it? I mean, he thought so. So while he was giving his profits to the rebels, that wasn't enough sometimes. Sometimes the Contras just needed more guns. So where did the money come from? Cocaine, of course. So this wasn't Ollie North's fuck up so much as it was the CIA's. North allegedly had dealings with drugs, but the CIA definitely had dealings with drugs. The CIA decided that the best way to fund the war was taking money from smuggling cocaine. Sometimes the CIA would just look the other way, sometimes it would actively help the drug traffickers. But remember, kids, it's legal if you're fighting the commies. So, remember the two rules we had? Don't sell guns to Iran, don't give congressional money to the Contras. For fun, let's add another point, okay? Don't do drugs. How many of these were broken? All of them. On November 3rd, 1986, a Lebanese magazine actually revealed the whole story. The Iranian government said, yeah, this is all true. Reagan said, my fellow Americans, I fucked up. So Reagan fired our boy Ali, started the Terror Commission. The Terror Commission was a group of guys who were said to unclusterfuck this clusterfuck. But as they were going to figure out who was behind all this, yeah, you guessed it. Our boy Ali decided to pull a Hillary Clinton and delete those shred those documents. This was the 1980s. With no documents, they couldn't really tell who was responsible. The CIA director maybe had some information, but he actually died the day after Congress began their hearing. So the Terror Commission reviewed everything, but couldn't find any evidence directly corresponding to Reagan, so they called him out for being a dumbass to what was going on, but they couldn't really do anything more than that. And so no one knows if Reagan really knew what was going on after Ali took over. In my own personal opinion, Reagan was a smart guy. I think Reagan knew what was going on, he just chose not to do anything about it because he supported it. In Reagan's mind, the Contras, even though they were bad, they were not communists, which means they were the lesser of two evils. And he actually did want better relations with Iran. Overall, though, he kind of fucked everything up by not doing anything. In the end, 12 people were indicted, but this is America, and if you know people, you're not going to jail. George Bush pardoned most of everyone indicted. And this is how our story ends. Ali now chills on Fox News. Reagan's popularity decreased after this, but by the end of the term, it was almost like this never happened. He was very popular again, and this just shows how good Reagan is at public relations. Iran, now they hate America for the most part, and even if America just gives them like $1.7 billion, it's not going to change that. The communist Sandinistas were eventually defeated, but not by guns, by democracy. They were just voted out of power. And that's that, There isn't really a moral to this story, as history doesn't have any morals. The only thing I can tell you is that no matter how much of a bad day you had, at least you didn't fuck up as bad as Ollie North did.